All right, guys, it's time for week 15 of the NHL Power Rankings. We'll get straight into it with my 32, and I have a new one. It's the Vancouver Canucks.
All right, same.
Well, I mean, after the Quinn Hughes trade, they were on the up, and now they're not. They're straight back down. Really poor week. 0-4 this week. Lost 6-3 to Montreal, 2-1 to Ottawa, 4-1 to Columbus, and 6-0 to the Edmonton Oilers. They're getting heavily outshot. I think they're winless in their last 10. It's just horrible for them. What more can you say? Like,
Yeah, I think they're 3 wins behind the next in the league. So they're in the league of their own in not the best of ways. Alrighty, on to 31. Team I didn't think would be here, New York Rangers.
yeah, same here.
Yeah, this is really surprising one for me. But they've been shut out so many times this season. 2-6-2 in the last 10. It was just another poor week. It's been poor for a long time. 1-2, getting outshot, outscored. The only win against Philly, which is a division rival, which is good. But it's one of the teams in the Metro that are looking like season done. But I
Mm.
wouldn't rule them out yet, even though they are down at 31.
Yeah, Metro's poor. That all they have to do is go on a run at this point.
Yeah.
All right, 30. I have the Chicago Blackhawks just falling down a little bit.
All right. Same.
Yeah, look, not overly a great week. They lost all three games. 4-1 loss to Edmonton, 3-1 loss to Calgary, and 5-2 loss to Boston. It's not great. They played some decent opponents. Boston's on a heater. Edmonton's been a lot better. But you lose all three. They have been a lot better lately. Their last 10, but just there were so many teams below them before this week. That just outperformed them. So
Yeah. Alrighty, on to 29 for me. I have a team, once again, didn't think they would go this low. LA Kings,
cool.
going
We
hard on
are
them.
4.
Oh, wow, it's going. So yeah, lost their last 4 this week. Lost their last 3 in OT shootout. Um, and because that's what they do, they get those points that way. If it wasn't for that, they would be down in the dumpster with all the other teams.
13, dude.
Yeah,
13 overtime loss. Like, that's
yeah.
cooked.
Like hard teams, Dallas, Vegas, Anaheim twice. So they lost to a division rival, 2 times in Anaheim, obviously Vegas as well. But when you don't get that extra point in OT shootout, it starts to add up. And yeah, 3-3-4 in the last 10. It's just been going south and south and south for quite a while.
Yeah, 100%. All right, 28 for me. I have the Anaheim Ducks. Talk about going south and south and south, but
Yeah.
they had a positive week. They
Mhm.
had they went 3-0 and won all three of their games. They beat Dallas Stars, great team to beat, but Dallas have been a bit ordinary lately. Then they 3-2 shootout win against Los Angeles, and then on the back-to-back 2-1 overtime win against Los Angeles. I guess it's the only way you can have both teams on a back-to-back play
Yeah.
like
Um,
both back-to-backs is if they're playing each other twice. But yeah,
which
like
you
I mean,
rarely
what do you
see.
make? No, you don't these days. You don't see a lot of home and homes. But yeah, I don't know. It's hard to make much of this week, which is one of the reasons why they only move up 1 week, one position for me
One week.
because 1 week, yeah, they
They're
only
moving
move up
into
one.
week 16, boys. Yeah.
Yeah, they beat Dallas, who are terrible lately, and they beat Los Angeles twice on a back-to-back, who are terrible lately. So, look, good to get 6 points, especially considering before that hadn't won in like 10 games or whatever it was. But it's just I need to see better opponents before I start considering. Their fall was so bad.
Yeah. All right, 27 for me. New Jersey Devils.
They're 26 for me, but yes, still very poor.
Yeah, very poor. They pay well and then they fall apart. Goaltending's been an issue. 4-6 in the last 10. It seems, refereeing decisions because of how bad they play gets exacerbated. Lose today against Carolina. They beat Kraken and Minnesota, and they lost to the Jets, basically starting their run because that's how the Devils are. Um,
Mhm.
very poor. A lot of the superstars, like the Hughes brothers, do not play well at the moment. So yeah, a lot of issues at the Devils. A lot of trade rumors. one of the teams to watch if you're into trade rumors because of just how much is going on with Hamilton. Platt should be moved, etc.
100%. All right, 27 for me. The team that actually beat the Devils early in the week, the Winnipeg Jets.
Yep.
Yeah, look, a lot better. A lot better. I think they're 4-1 in their last five with the loss today, in overtime. They were obviously on this week. I think they went 3-1, 4-3 win against the Devils, 5-4 win against the Islanders, 6-2 win against the Minnesota Wild, and then losing in OT against the Toronto Maple Leafs 4-3 today, which the way the Leafs have been lately, that's not a bad loss to get a point out of that game. So the Jets have a little bit of a resurgence going on here. Whether that's going to be short lived, I don't know. But, they went from being one of the best teams in the league to being one of the worst like that. Maybe they're able to turn it around like that.
Yeah, I think they're back. I think
Hmm.
they're gonna go on some sort of run. Doesn't mean they make it or whatever, but I think they'll do
I
some
don't
sort
think
of run.
Jets fans want them to do that. They're like, we had a chance for McKenna. What are you doing?
All right, on to 25 for me. St. Louis.
Yeah, yeah, same here.
And look, not much to go on this week, only the two games, but they face two huge teams and they get the results. Carolina
Mhm.
shutting them out, 3-0 win, and then Tampa going to shootout and then getting the extra point. They're playing better. I'm still not fully convinced with them, but they're 5-5 in the last 10. They've been kind of 500 for a while now, what it feels like. Um, but yeah, I'm still not convinced. They're still second besides Vancouver in goal differential. So there's a lot of issues still to be seen there, but it is looking better.
Yeah, I mean, 5-5 in the last 10. They're on the upwards trajectory, but yeah, they have been extremely poor this year. 24 for me, I have the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Yep, me too.
Yeah, look, no longer the worst team in the East. They're now the third worst team in the East. So look, they're coming up, and that's the positive. They get a 3-2 OT win against the Mammoth, who Mammoth have been on a bit of a heater at the moment, so great win there. 5-3 win against Calgary Flames, 4-1 win against the Vancouver Canucks, and a 4-3 shootout win today against the Pittsburgh Penguins. So they go 4-0. They play some decent teams who are on a bit of a heater, in terms of the Utah Mammoth, and Pittsburgh have had a bit of a run lately as well, and Calgary have been pretty decent. So it's not overly, the best cream of the crop teams, but still good teams to get good wins against and maybe sort of get a bit of a resurgence in their season.
Yeah. Alrighty, on to 23. I have Seattle Kraken. Uh,
They're 21 for me.
yeah, just moving down a little bit. Yeah, goal scoring's been an issue. They didn't have too much goal scoring problems this week, but when they did score, they were conceding. Um, but look, their one win was against the Rangers, OT loss against the Devils, and then back to going on a back to back, losing to Boston, then facing Utah and losing that one too. I think they're playing well. Um, not too bad anyway, but they do have goal scoring problems like New Jersey. But normally they've been holding on that defense. It didn't hold up this week, and that's why they didn't get the results.
Yeah, yeah, no, I agree with you there. I feel like when they finally score, their defense breaks down. It's like they can't have both. It's one or the other. They can either have really good defense, no scoring, or good goal scoring and no defense. So, all right, 23 for me. I have the Calgary Flames.
My 20.
Hey, he's loving the Calgary Flames this week. Get
Loving
around
them.
him. Look, I enjoy them as well, but I just feel like they've just been a little bit mid of late, just not being able to go that next step to get them back into the real playoff conversation race. But they lose to the Columbus Blue Jackets 5-3. They beat Chicago Blackhawks 3-1, and then they beat the New York Islanders 4-2, which fantastic win, but like, you're probably expecting 4 points this week, except for you probably expected them to beat the Jackets and lose to the Islanders. So, yeah, good week. probably would have preferred to see them take all six after, especially with the Islanders win.
Yeah. All right, on to 22. One of the reasons why Calgary move up, Philadelphia Flyers falling from grace.
Boy, they're my 20.
Yeah, I went hard on the boys.
Mhm.
Look, they're always in it, but they've lost their last five, 3-6-1 in their last 10. I do say like they're always in it, and some of the games this week they were, but then they weren't.
Yeah.
um, yeah, so they lose to Tampa 5-1, 5-2 to Buffalo, back to back 6-3 to Pens, and then at Rangers they lose there as well. So not great. A lot of division rivals there. Did not pan out well. It yeah, I like it when they're really close, but they conceded a lot of goals this week, and that's a big problem for me. They normally all about their defense.
hmm Yeah, they're definitely having a bit of a fall from grace at the moment, that's for sure. All right, 22 for me. I had the Ottawa Senators. Senators,
Oh, I
if I
like the
can speak.
Senators. They're a decent team. They're my number one.
Good team, good team. Yeah, look, I just this is a team I can't make sense of. Like every time I feel like they're good, they get a grip on it, they fall apart. But look, decent week this week. They had a 2-1 win against Vancouver, a massive 8-4 win against the New York Rangers. Um, but they're two games you should be winning, and then a 5-6 OT loss against Montreal. So they get 5 from 6 points this week. But honestly, anything less than that, you would consider a very poor week because the 4 points had to be guaranteed. Vancouver, New York Rangers, yes, it was on a back to back against the Rangers, but the Rangers have been absolutely trash. Um, so yeah, I kind of didn't go too hard on them. I kept them where they were purely based on I expected this. Like
Yeah,
for me, it was one of those weeks that it could only really go bad for Ottawa.
yeah. All right, on to 19 for me. I went hard on this team, the Washington Capitals.
Yeah, same here.
And this
Same
is stemming from about 3 weeks of just subpar performances, like results. Been about 3 weeks. But yeah, so losing to Nashville, uh, OT win against Montreal, lose to the Sharks, and then lose to Florida. The credit to them, it's kind of like Philly, like they were in all of them. They're playing decent, but it's just been a bit subpar as of recently.
here.
4-5-1 in the last 10. Lost the last two. I do expect a little bit of a bounce back in the top 16. But yeah, I feel like this felt right. Sitting
Mhm.
here with how they've been for the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, I think with some of the performances from the teams ahead of them as well, it was hard to keep them. Like I'm looking at you had them 11 last week, I had them 13, but you kind of had to do it. The teams up
Yeah,
above them now, they deserved it, and the Caps just haven't been playing that well.
yeah,
All right, and speaking of a team that beat them this week at 18, San Jose Sharks.
same.
Yeah, look, they dropped two positions for me and one for you. But yeah, like I said, they had a so-so week. I feel like they lost 7-2 to Vegas Golden Knights, which is a horrible loss, but it is against a decent side. 3-2 win against the Washington Capitals. They had a 4-2 loss against Detroit, but Detroit weren't on a back-to-back. They were. It's a tough game to win. Um, so yeah, it's they go 1-2. But that Detroit one's almost like a penciled loss. Like it's almost just a scheduled loss when you're coming up against a team on a back to back after a really difficult game, and that team's had 2 days rest.
Mhm.
Um, like you may as well schedule it in. So I didn't go too hard on them, but and they are 7-3 in their last 10 as well. So they're performing decently. They just had a sort of a bit of a blip on the radar this week, I think.
Yep. All right, on to an up and up team. 17 for me, just missing. It was really close. Utah Mammoth.
They're in my top 16.
Yeah, it's no surprise. They're 7-2-1 in their last 10. Won their last three. I'll just get their thing here. So they played 4 games. They went 3-1. Their one loss was in OT to Columbus, but then they beat Toronto 6-1, destroying them. Beat Dallas and beat Kraken. down Dallas, kind of an iffy sometimes Kraken, up and up Columbus. So look, it was a reasonable week in regards to results, teams they versed. It's been going great. I just don't have in my top 16 because my 16 I've been a little bit higher on for longer,
Hmm.
and they had a phenomenal week in regards to who they beat.
Yeah. I have a feeling I know who that is, but yeah, look, the Utah Mammoth on their schedule, I feel like they got every team at the right time. Dallas on a bit of a slide, Kraken didn't have a great week. They got Toronto on a back-to-back after playing Colorado. Like
Mm.
it all went well for them, but they've been playing well. So let's talk about the team I think you were mentioning. My 17, Nashville Predators.
Yeah, a team so far in the standings, and I have in my top 16, but that's how it goes.
Well, that was just how poor they started. But the reason I didn't have them in my top 16 is because last time I put them in my top 16, they went on to have a shit week. So I'm like, nah, you can wait. Um, bit of tactics there for the Nashville Predators. But yeah, look, they had another good week. 3-2 against Washington Capitals, 4-3 against the Edmonton Oilers, 7-3 win against the Colorado Avalanche, the first regulation loss to the Colorado Avalanche at home. Nashville Predators hang the banner right now.
Mm.
And then a 2-7 loss to Vegas Golden Knights today. But, like, look, they were on a back to back after playing Colorado, and Vegas weren't on a back to back. It's again one of those sort of scheduled losses. So I don't hold it too much against them. They've been unreal lately. If it wasn't for that really bad starts of the season, they would probably be in, fighting for the top three spots with Minnesota and Dallas. So, yeah, it's good to see from them. They've bounced back massively.
All right. Talking about that division, a team falling from grace. I have the Minnesota Wild at 15.
They're 12 for me, but yes, falling from grace
Yeah,
indeed.
look, they're always competitive in it, but look, they play 3 games. They only win the one, losing to New Jersey and Winnipeg, 2 teams outside the top 16 for us. Though I do think Winnipeg are on a bounce back, and then losing in OT, winning in OT, sorry, to get the extra point against Buffalo. Um, they got a bad last 10 as well, 4-3-3 in their last 10. I think they've been on a slide for just a little bit, though they're always in it. They got one of the highest win counts in the league. They're still a really good team. Maybe it's a Quinn Hughes factor, to get Quinn Hughes and the stat going down. Um, hey, maybe he is the problem. But no, ultimately, they're still a good team. I
Yeah,
couldn't really push them too far further, though Nashville and Utah, with their streakiness, are knocking on my door anyway.
yeah, 100%. No, I see that. Well, my 15 is the other central team on an absolute slide, the Dallas Stars.
Yep, I am a 14.
Look, they are something like 2-6-2 in their last 10, and it's
Two
kind of
five three.
2-5-3. Yeah, look, I knew it was bad. I knew they'd only had the two wins in the last 10. Um, but yeah, look, they get a 3-1 win against Los Angeles Kings, but you can see the rankings. Kings aren't exactly all that great. They lose 3-1 on a back-to-back to the Anaheim Ducks. Again, the Anaheim Ducks had 2 or 3 days rest when that happened. I just hate seeing it. It's like we said, scheduled loss essentially. A 2-1 loss against Utah, and they go 1-for-2 on the week. It's just I think I had to punish them because this slide has been going on for long enough. We sort of held on. We gave Dallas the benefit of the doubt because of how good they've been, and I think they will turn it around. But this slide is starting to get worrying because their position in third in the Central is starting to look a little bit questionable in terms of I don't think anyone else from the Central is coming after them, but they had like a 10 point gap between them and like the top of the Pacific, the top of the Atlantic and the Metro. Now it's a couple of points or they're behind those other teams. Like Dallas Stars were the second best team in the league by a mile, and now they've fallen right back to where everyone else is. So If they're not careful and they keep on this slide, they may all of a sudden find themselves in a sort of competing position for that third spot, especially with how good Nashville's been.
Yeah. All right, on to 13. I got Toronto. Um,
Toronto, they
flying
are
on up.
10. They are 10 for me. They're in my top 10. What am
Yeah.
I doing? Oh,
7. Well, feels wrong, doesn't it, from how they started the
throw,
season? But
throw me out. Jeez.
go live with Steve Dangle. It's all right. Yeah, 7-1-2 in their last 10. Look, they're getting the results. They're playing better. They're looking better. Get the extra point in OT against Colorado on the back-to-back. Get 6-1 by Utah. Who were not on the back-to-back because you never are. And then Vegas lose that in OT. Is always a guaranteed point because they love OT. And then they can get the extra point against Winnipeg Jets in OT. So a lot of OT games. Yeah, definitely on the up. That's why I moved them up. They've kind of transformed from I don't know what 20 games ago. Like it just seems like a different team.
Yeah.
Obviously, coaching stuff and all that as well, but just the players as well have be a little bit different. So
Hmm.
maybe this is
A
the
lot
old
of depth as well.
old school Toronto.
Hmm. No, it's good. It's good to see they've been performing well. 14 for me. I have the Florida Panthers.
I have 10. Yep.
Yeah, look, it wasn't a bad week. I think they went 2-1, but 4-3 win against Buffalo, a 9-1 loss against Carolina, and a 5-2 win against Washington Capitals. But that 9-1 loss against Carolina, that's what did it for me. It hurts. It's not a good look. And yeah, look, you get done sometimes, but that was a terrible loss.
Mm.
But look, I still think they're great. I still think they're trying to find their groove after all the injuries they've had. They're getting their players back. I expect to see them finish the season strong. Yeah, that 9-1 loss, I think, was just a punishing loss.
Mm. It was against Carolina, but yeah, they only had 16 shots. So
Yeah.
it's just one of those ones. But moving on to 12, I have Edmonton Oilers, just slowly creeping up every week, it seems.
They're my 13. Yep.
And yeah, look, they look transformed. They look better. Obviously, a couple named players make them look better every
Mm-hmm.
week because of just who they are and what they do. But yeah, beat Chicago back to back, losing OT against Nashville, lose to Sorokin, not the Islanders, in that 1-0 game, and then they'd go and just blank and destroy Vancouver. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, they go like 50-50. They probably should have had the Islanders game, but it was just stolen by the goaltender, which can happen. That's why I have them a little bit higher, even though it's only one position and above
Yep.
Toronto. I do think they're playing better. It's just they didn't get the extra result because of yeah running into Sorokin, who career-wise has been done well against Toronto, against the Oilers.
Edmonton.
Oilers, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it sums it up well. All right. My 11, I have the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Yay, same
If
here.
I can find. Yeah, look, look, they are OT merchants. I will get that one off my chest. They have 11 OT losses. Their week was a bit interesting, a bit rough. 1-0 loss against the Boston Bruins, even though they heavily outshot them. A 2-1 shootout loss to Tampa Bay Lightning. 6-3 win against Philadelphia Flyers and a 3-4 shootout loss to Columbus. So they're 1-3, but they do take away, I think, 4 points on the week. They also play two of the hottest teams in the NHL right now in Boston and Tampa. Um, so, to go 500 on a week like that, I don't hate it. Um, but yeah, so like they've been a lot better since we came back from the Christmas break. As you said, Jaden, they had a really tough schedule before that, come back, and they've been really good since. So yeah, I didn't punish them too badly because those two losses to start the week, um, against two very good opponents, and they only lost by a goal and a shootout goal.
Yeah, if you're in a hockey team, yeah, sign me as an analyst. I can call it. I can call it for you. All right, on to number 9 for me. Sliding a bit, the New York Islanders.
Yep, same here. Same here.
Yeah, just clinging on to the top 10,
Mm.
but it has starting to go south a little bit. Losing to the Jets in a close game, losing to beating the Oilers because of Sorokin, and then losing to Calgary. It's kind of like they won the game they shouldn't and lost the games they shouldn't.
They
It's
should.
like it's an interesting one, but look, they're still playing well, still really strong. 5-4-1 in the last 10. They are starting to get like kind of average in the sense of results,
Hmm.
that I felt for a past couple of weeks, but I still think they're better than the teams I have below. So, but they're teetering on moving out of the top 10 if they continue. But that
Yeah,
they're still doing well.
100%. I agree with you there. All right, at 8, I have the Vegas Golden Knights. As disgusting as that is,
Same.
OT merchants, but they've won their last 7 games. Um, Yeah, look, I've said it even when I pushed them out of the top 16 and held them out of the top 16, I still think they're extremely strong side. It's just that they need to actually win games. They can't just get OT points. And they've started to do that. So hence the massive move up. Started a week with a 7-2 win, and then a 3-2 overtime win because of course they go to OT. And then they follow that up with the following day a 6-5 massive OT comeback win against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Um, Again, because why not? And then finish it with a 7-2 win against Nashville Predators. So they go 4-0 on the week, but of course, 2 of their 4 games go to overtime because that's just who the Vegas Golden Knights are. But yeah, look, they're going to be a strong team. They're going to be either first or second in the Pacific. It's pretty clear. Um, it's just going to be can they pull it together in the playoffs, basically.
Hmm. Alrighty, on to my number 7, Montreal, not moving.
True. Yeah, same here.
And yeah, look, they had a so-so week, beating Vancouver, OT loss against Washington on the back-to-back, losing to Buffalo, and then beating Ottawa in OT. Only the 19 shots in that game. I think they've been a little bit iffy, at least this week anyway. But they're 6-3-1 in the last 10. They're
Mm,
still very strong. 27 wins for the season. Uh, they are not OT merchants. Only 7 OT points. Still really good. I couldn't move them up. I couldn't move them down. It just felt right at 7.
hmm. Yeah, no, I agree with you there. I at number 6. We're at 6, aren't we? Yeah. So,
Yes.
6 for me, a team that will probably be out of the top 16 in 2 weeks. It's just how they are. The Boston Bruins.
I have a 5. Yep.
Look, they're on a 6 game win streak, but as we've seen all season, they will go on a 6 game losing streak now. It's just how they do it. They can't win 1 game and then lose 1 game. It's got to win in a heap and then lose in a heap. They beat the Pittsburgh Penguins 1-0, 3-0 Detroit Red Wings win, a 4-2 win against the Kraken, and a 5-2 win against the Chicago Blackhawks. Really good win. Two big shutouts against 2 big teams. I mean, like, what more can you ask for? The only thing I would say is, can you just stop losing a heap of games in a row when you go on good win streaks? Like, win the games and then lose 1 or 2 and then go back to winning. Don't go 6 wins and then 6 losses. Stop it.
But they are 8-1-1 in the last 10, so it's very
Yeah.
very strong, consistent for at least 10 games.
Hmm.
Uh, on to my 6, I have Detroit. Once again, not moving.
Yeah, they are my. Oh, they're my 4. Yep.
He's had to think about this. All right.
I did. I was like, I went to put them at 5, and then I was like, hang on, I'm pretty sure they didn't move this week.
So 3
Oh,
games. Carolina get the extra point in OT. They only had the 18 shots against Carolina. Um, Carolina almost doubled theirs. Then they get blanked by Boston, as we just mentioned. But Boston um, were not on a back-to-back. So that's what
mm,
happens when you go on back-to-backs. And then they go and beat San Jose, which you kind of expect. But yeah, they've been strong. They've been consistent. 7-1 in the last 10. They're kind of like Montreal for me, like in the same ballpark, even though they have 2 more wins in their slot, but they're kind of in that same talking point
cool.
threshold for me. So that's why they
Yeah.
sit next to each other, holding hands.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Very positive from them, though. I think they've been really good
It's been a long time
this
coming.
season. It has, and I really hope they hold on to it. Talking about another team, I really hope they hold on to their season. At 5, I have the Buffalo Sabres.
Buffalo Sabres. I have still at 3.
They're number 1. Is that Jaden?
Can I
Number
do it?
1.
Can I do it? Can I do it, please?
Go for gold. Look, like I said, I just really hope they keep this momentum going. I hope that they continue their season, that the resurgence of the season that they're having. They start the week off with a 4-3 loss against the Panthers. It's, that's nothing to sort of get upset about. They win 5-2 against the Philadelphia Flyers. They beat the Montreal Canadiens 5-3 on a back-to-back. And again, of course, the Montreal Canadiens did not have a back-to-back. And then a 4-5 OT loss to Minnesota Wild. But yeah, like they take 5 out of a possible 8 points. It's not great, but it's all they really need to do now. They've got themselves back into a playoff spot. They just have to keep themselves above 500. They did that this week. It's positive. They're still playing really good. Yeah, there's not much more you want from them.
All right, on to my 4 Carolina Hurricanes.
They're my 3.
So no movement once again, but like them, they went 2-2 for the week, losing an OT to the Detroit Red Wings, though they kind of outplayed them. Back to back, they get blanked by St. Louis, but then they recover the week by 9-1ing Florida and then 4-1ing New Jersey Devils on the back to back. So it's kind of a mixed bag of results, and it's kind of how I feel about Carolina at the moment. They're kind of a little bit of a mixed bag, but 6-3-1 in the last 10. They're still very strong, still very consistent, hard team to beat. But yeah, still a little bit of a mixed bag. I feel like, but definitely a top 10 team.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. All right, let's get on to number 1 and 2. Oh, look, Colorado had a couple of losses this week. First regulation loss, they had a couple of OT losses. They've been on a bit of a slide. I'm really worried about them, man. I think they might miss the playoffs if they keep this up. And that's why I decided Tampa Bay was still going to be number 2 this week.
Wow, whole lot of lead up for nothing.
Look, if anyone actually thought that the Tampa Bay would be number 1, I'd be a bit concerned because
I don't
Colorado
know.
have been.
Tampa's
I, I
9-0-1. They haven't lost regulation in the last 10. I don't know.
I think it's very close now, and it is getting a lot closer. But I think Colorado was so far ahead that they are allowed to have a couple of regulation losses without going down. But look, Tampa, another good week. 5-1 win against Philly, 2-1 shootout win against the Pittsburgh Penguins. And then little blip, 2-3 shootout loss to the St. Louis Blues. Heavily outshot them, outplayed them, but these things happen. They still take 5 of a possible 6 points on the week. So,
Mm.
yeah, there's not too much to complain about if you're a Tampa fan. They are cruising, and it's going to be another postseason for them. They're going to be in the playoffs. I can't see them falling out now.
And filling out Colorado at number 1. Most wins, most goal differential, 6-3-1 in the last 10. As you just mentioned, they had a little bit of a slide this week. Honestly, mentally, it's a little bit closer for me, Colorado and Tampa,
Hmm.
which is a lot of credit to Tampa. But OT loss against Toronto, you just don't get the extra point in OT. But then they get 7-3 by Nashville, which is the big one that hurts. But because I don't really feel like I've seen Tampa. I might be misremembering, but them getting smacked
Mm.
like that.
Early in the season,
Maybe like we're like first week or two, but pretty
yeah,
much,
first 10 games.
they've been very consistently in it. So they're very close. I hope to see a new number 1. I just wish it wasn't Tampa because they've already won 2 cups. Like, come on, guys. So
Give someone else a
let's
chance.
have it be Buffalo, guys, or Detroit. Like, these teams deserve it at this point. It's been a while. Um,
Hmm.
so, but yeah, no, extremely strong. Hard to find faults. But hopefully they haven't played half a season of miraculous things and then just capitulate. Especially when it comes to playoffs. But ultimately, next week, if they have another bad week, I could see a new number 1 for me.
Oh, he's within a week now.
I'm
Yeah,
within a
look,
week. I'm
I
within a
think if
week.
Colorado went and lost like their next three games and Tampa kept winning, then I could make that change. I think if Colorado go like 2-1 or 3-1 next week,
Oh
I
yeah,
still don't
yeah.
think it's enough. But yeah, I think it's almost there. I think if you see an 0-3 and a 3-0, I think we might see a new number one, which is the first time in a long time. I think that's been on the cards. So, look, I love the Avalanche. Nathan McKinnon is phenomenal to watch and fantastic to watch, but it's just, yeah, it's nice to change it up a bit. Like, it's nice to have something better to talk about at
Gets
number one than
boring.
just
Even the best things in the world get boring. We all get bored of our favorite food in life. You have it too much, and you're like, oh, maybe I feel like something else. So
exactly. You need variety, all right? So come on.
yeah, just spice it up for us, Avs. But yeah, let us know what you think of our power rankings. Who you agree with, disagree with, what team you think we're right or wrong with. But yeah, let us know what your thoughts. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below. But yeah, for more content, catch you in. But till next time, catch you guys.
Bye, guys.